Welsh squad for the Rugby World Cup 2023, folks, has been named by Warren Gatland. He's got a couple of captains. He's only got a couple of scrum halves. It's an interesting wee pick, a bunch of back rowers. We'll go through them pretty quick, plus the fixtures, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how these guys might be going to go. I say a couple of captains. He's got Dewi, Leigh and Jack Morgan as co-captains for this one, although in the press conference, he did say they will kind of be allocated a game where they are in charge, so it's not like they're going to come to any disagreements on the field with one making one call, another making another. But yeah, it is an interesting call for Gats to go for co-captains. I think he said he's not done that before. And yeah, just a couple of halfbacks, but I guess we get to the backs in a second. Elliot D, Ryan Elias and Dewi Leigh. As I mentioned, Dewi Leigh's the co-captain. Elias and D, the two hookers. So Leigh's the kind of least capped of the guys. He's also the youngest, but it's been a kind of theme of this Welsh squad as they were having all those senior guys like your Elwyn Jones and your Dustin Tippericks and whatnot retire, that the focus of the squad shifts to the kind of younger guys, the guys less than 25, like a 24-year-old Dewi Leigh. Props-wise, Domachowski, Francis, Lewis, Smith, and the two Thomases, Gareth and Henry, make their way in. So it's 6 props, which the majority of the teams seem to be going with. There are the odd teams going with 5, but it's 6 props. Domachowski got a couple of caps recently. The Welsh scrum was under the pump a wee bit against the Springboks. But Tom Francis is certainly kind of one of your more senior guys there with 70 plus caps. The scrum certainly looks, generally a wee bit more stable when he's there. And, Nicky Smith is certainly no slouch. Dillon Lewis, there's a bunch of guys with nigh on or over 50 caps in this, Welsh front row. So, as long as they can get parity, you think they'll be putting themselves in a decent position. Locks, they've gone with just the kind of 3 specialists in Adam Baird, Dafydd Jenkins, and Will Rowlands. You would assume on experience in recent times it'll be Rowlands and Adam Baird. But Dafydd Jenkins has had a few caps recently. He's only 20 years old, so he's certainly got bags of potential if you are leaning towards the kind of more youthful side of things. And then you got Tshiunza, who is the kind of lock cover if needs be, but Gats has said he primarily sees him as a number 6. So yeah, just the 3 kind of specialist locks. And then a bunch of 7s. You got Taine, Basham, Taulupe, Faletau, Dan Lydiate, Jack Morgan, who's the other co-captain, Tommy Reffell, and Aaron Wainwright. So in Basham, Jack Morgan, and Reffell, you've essentially got 3 7s, which is, again, an interesting call. Wainwright's mainly your number 8, and then Faletau's nursing a bit of an injury. We haven't seen him play, but 100 caps, 32 years old. He's been to World Cups before, so he'll possibly be the starting guy if he can get himself to 100% fitness. We have seen Taine Basham fill in at number 8 if needs be. And then, Gats said that Tshiunza's still kind of, what did he say? Something like finding his way with his role. So he's not quite 100% there yet. Dan Lydiate at 34 is the oldest guy in the squad. Well, I don't know if he's the oldest, certainly the oldest forward. Halfpenny is also 34. I don't actually know which one of them's older if you're looking at it by the month. But yeah, so it's only an average age of 27 with the forwards, which is a bit on the lower side compared to some of the other squads, but there's kind of outliers in 20-year-old Dafydd Jenkins and then 34-year-old Dan Lydiate, 32-year-old Faletau, 31-year-old Tom Francis, and then, Tshiunza's 21, Tommy Reffell's only 24, Basham's only 24. So it's a decent mix of youth and experience despite the absence of some of the senior guys that we've mentioned. Sam Parry's probably a little bit unlucky. He had a decent game the other day. Ben Carter seemed to have been one of those guys kind of on the up and up that was, favoured by Gats, but not to be for him. Taine Plumtree is one of the loosies that misses out, but as I said, they're already kind of pretty well stocked for loosies. And to be honest, he didn't have a great game the other day. He kept knocking the bloody ball on like he was trying to do too much, and he's got a shoulder injury, which seems to, by the way, Gats has been speaking to have been the deciding factor, which is kind of an interesting call. Asarati, who got his first Welsh cap the other day, was also one of the guys who misses out. I didn't read that Wales are carrying a training squad or anything. He's basically said that it's a pretty short flight if they need to fly anyone over, so they're not kind of keeping guys waiting in the wings. For the backs, Gareth Davies, Thomas Williams are your only 2 number 9s. Gats says they're both pretty robust. but it only takes one hit to the head for a guy to be out with an HIA. So that's kind of an interesting call, robust or not. Gareth, Anscombe, Dan Biggar, and Sam Costelow are the 3 10s. Anscombe's another guy who's had no game time coming back from injury. But yeah, this will be his last crack of it, I guess, in Welsh colours as he's heading off to Japan. I know they can play guys who've kind of hit that 30 cap mark nowadays. So yeah, maybe we could see Anscombe. But I mean, at 32, you got to think this is kind of nigh on the end of the road for Gareth Anscombe. Hopefully he can remain fit. Speaking of guys who maybe aren't that robust, Dan Biggar's there. And Costelow is one of the younger guys in the squad at 21 and also is apparently the backup 9 if needs be. I don't know how much Sam Costelow plays 9. I don't think much, but there you go. That's what gets said in the press conference. Mason Grady, George North, Nick Tompkins, and Johnny Williams are your midfielders. So is it going to be the kind of tried and true North and Tompkins? I don't actually mind Nick Tompkins. I quite like him. I know he's a bit... he cops a bit of stick from some fans. He does drop a little bit of ball, but he's high work rate. And Mason Grady is another kind of youngster who's certainly getting to grips with the international game, but he's a big fella. No spot for Max Llewellyn in this one. And then Josh Adams, Rio Dyer, Rees-Zammit, Halfpenny, and Williams are your kind of outside backs. Halfpenny's the oldest of the backs at 34. Liam Williams is 32. Yeah, for a few of these guys, this is certainly going to be the end of the road, isn't it? So I guess Liam Williams is your preferred candidate at 15. He probably offers the most in terms of dynamic counter-attacking play and safe under the high ball, but Leigh Halfpenny's got pretty bloody good boot on him, and he's not bad as a defensive-minded fullback. For sure, you got to see Rees-Zammit as most likely starting. He can cover fullback if needs be. Rio Dyer as an attacking weapon is a potential option, but did get himself in hot water on defence the other day. Adams is kind of Mr. Consistent and has clocked up 50 caps. But yeah, Kai Evans missed out. Not surprising, but he got a cap the other day, so he's another option. Tom Rogers missed out. Alice Cup but missed out. Kieran Hardy in terms of your halfbacks missed out. But yeah, it's one of the kind of weirder mixes of, you know, only 2 halfbacks is a unique call. Just the 3 locks is also, you know, I mean, Tshiunza's there, so you feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's put it that way. Fixtures-wise, Fiji first up. It's going to be a big old game. Fiji, despite losing to France the other day, if you haven't been watching them in the Pacific games against the likes of Tonga, Samoa, and Japan, in Japan, Fiji looked really good. Really, really good. So Fiji first up, then Portugal, then Australia, who are also you know, having a wee bit of a interesting squad, put it that way. If you haven't seen their depth chart video, check that one out. We're doing kind of deep dives on how many minutes the players have gotten thus far. The Aussie one is a big old mess. I look forward to doing the Welsh one now that we've got the squad. And then Georgia, final game up. But yeah, you guys let us know what your thoughts are on the Welsh squad. It is a certainly mix of youth and experience. The backs are older than the forwards, which is a little bit unusual. Most of the squads, it is it's the forwards where we see a bit more of the age, but guys like Biggar and Anscombe and Halfpenny and Liam Williams certainly bumping the age up. George North as well. A lot of Williamses, a couple of Thomases, and no Joneses, which is kind of an interesting one because there's usually a Jones somewhere there or thereabouts in the Welsh squad. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.